you have to turn in
30 days.
To who?
To the Department of Public Safety.
And what is it, I mean?
What it does
I
is
understand the magnitude of that, but where does the magnitude start? You got an event over 10 people, you gotta notify the state?
It depends on what kind of event there is, and you have to, because other people nowadays
In this case, it was the helicopter being the main thing, right?
Yeah, a helicopter dropping off eggs.
A big crowd, too.
Yeah, supposedly.
I can't believe that you can drop something.
But what they came out and said was 4,000 to 5,000 people is what they're expecting. Well, that's a tremendous burden on our law enforcement and our fire department, outside of what the federal agencies that I've got to notify them.
What I'm asking is, how big do they want to know about?
That's,
Are you just having a guess what's big enough to
they rely on a great deal on how I see it, since I live in this community and I know this community. But I'd put a rough figure on it, anything over 1,000, 1,500. You know.
That you're notifying the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that activates different agencies.
And that event had several issues.
Yes.
I think our zoning, or fire department, and police all handled it very well, considering the last minute that some of those vendors had issues.
And they did
They rectified it. The helicopter, the only issue, you kind of went, whoa.
But you got a plan now.
But that could have been disastrous. It's,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
You could have had
Robin,
Robin.
But I just wanted to insert that's some of the things that's a problem. And through lately, Marvin and a couple of us have come together and spoke on this, and we seem like we have something that's pretty good that's in place. We'll know that within the next 60 days.
Well, that needs to be something that we put to that.
Have there been any talk, they're gonna want to redo that?
March or whatever.
They're gonna march to the drums that we beat.
Yeah.
That if they do it, we are aware ahead of time. And before it was just like this, they were throwing things up in there and wanting us to catch them. You know, okay, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. This time, if it comes to fruition,
More structured.
we're gonna set it way ahead of time, and we're gonna lay out. I need to know how people, if somebody's hurt in the middle of this crowd, I need to know if we're gonna get emergency personnel in there, who we're gonna get them out, who's gonna be responsible for this. This is an event that you're choosing to initiate in our city, and it's taxing the resources that we have to their limits. What additional resources are you going to bring to the table to alleviate that from, I mean, I've got a kid choking on Harvard, and I've got all my guys on foot in the middle of a crowd. How, you know, what are we gonna do with that? You know,
Well, there should be
those are the things
expenses
we need
there.
to have them spell out ahead of time.
They should
We're not
be,
gonna do it if they don't.
they should be paying for extra
That's a
security
whole
and
other
ambulance on the spot, some of that.
What time of year was that?
Easter egg.
Last Easter.
It was, yeah, they all left, our Easter egg hunt.
The one that we did.
It was the same day that our Easter egg hunt, yeah, it was huge.
Thank God nothing happened.
Do we have a date right now for our joint meeting? I know you looked at that.
I had it down for March the 7th, or no, March the 2nd, but they have since come back and said that they're canceling that and asking to move it up until May.
Well, I think we need to, I'm gonna
Well,
totally contradict everything I just said. As a general, I do still think the special events need to come to y'all and not us. But for right now, particularly given how much this one was, I think, personally, I think we need to try to have that joint meeting before that event happens, because I think that needs to
you're
be
talking about the
discussed.
school, I've already sat down with them, they won't even touch it anymore without I tell them they have to come to us.
Okay.
And that's all, the groundwork is laid for that.
And y'all have that, then
Well, the other place where, even if it comes here, that, you know, the chief has to sign off on this, fire department, everybody's got to sign off on it. Obviously, before Marvin is gonna approve it anyway.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
But we gotta know about it first.
So, I got a question. So if I come to you with an event, do I tell you how many people I'm gonna expect at this event? Or are they required to communicate all that to you?
Yes.
All right?
Ordinarily, yes.
And that's what this one needs to be too, regardless of whether it comes to council or staff.
Correct.
Or both, there needs to be, that's not something I have any issue with. Y'all need to be 100% sure of what you're dealing with, because how can you even evaluate whether it's something to approve? Because theoretically, it could be something that, whether it's staff or council, that says, we say we can't do that. We're not equipped for that. So,
They don't tell us, but they decide they're gonna block off the streets and all that. Obviously, police and fire need to know that and approve
And
that.
agree
So
to
if
it.
there's a fire or an event down there, they know the street's blocked off.
I was worried that helicopter was gonna suck those eggs up.
You know, I was more worried about hitting the goalpost. Yeah, that's what it looked like, we were standing there.
I don't know about all this.
Because car shows in the past where Care Flat landed to let all the kids look at it, man, they started landing. Crowd wasn't even close by, but the amount of debris that flies.
You can always tell people that have seen Care Flight land before, because they're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we had people with trophies on display by their cars, and all of a sudden, trophies, it looked like you just picked them up and threw them, you know? Hit inside of cars, it was not pretty.
Jeff?
We could add that criteria to this
Homecoming parades throughout the city.
The homecoming parade's already are coordinating with the,
Yeah, we work pretty.
Or with the school.
and PD and school.
They kinda have to do that to get streets.
Well, I've shoveled a lot of that responsibility. They have a police department, and so a lot of the communication, originally I was writing the requests to the state and getting the okays from them, but they have now picked up a lot of the responsibility for the pre-prep. We do all the traffic stuff, but a lot of the permits and things, we should obtain the permit for their parade. I think they are obtaining the permits for their parades, so we're working it. It works well.
Anything else you need on that?
Well, so how about I can incorporate this criteria that we as staff know we need to have in here, and then don't need to be, ratified, doesn't need to be done by resolution.
That it doesn't need to be done by
That it
resolution.
doesn't need to be done by.
That's what I, to me, that's what I think. yeah.
I think we wanted to know, everybody's good with it, I don't know that it really,
But we want to know about them.
well, yeah, we wanna know about it.
Yeah.
So however you can formally notify us of them.
And I mean,
We want to be surprised by them.
From his.
yeah, and I think that can go in the that could go in the memo every week.
Yeah.
It can, but it needs to.
Sure.
When we had the council meeting, if you get to speak at the end, you can tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
What's next?
The next one, Councilman Chisholm's gonna help me with.
This is on the,
That was the sound of him backing the bus up over here. Beep, beep.
Currently in section 23A and also in 26, when it talks about alcohol beverage sales, it has to be an establishment of 4,000 square feet. Right? We're wanting to see about having that reduced, because a lot of the little restaurants we have in here that wanna do that are.
Yeah,
a lot less than
Josephina's is now losing business,
Yeah.
just so you know. They're losing business to the new place that opened up across from Ace. Because they have margaritas and Josephina's doesn't.
How do you have 3 Mexican restaurants?
I don't know,
Off of each
and
other?
they're all staying
Packed,
full.
every one of them.
yeah.
So what is the reason for having a minimum, so you don't have a bar?
That was the original, that,
Because the state has laws that protect that, as far as.
well, unless you allow bars, but I think that
But I mean,
originally it was
percentage of
just
sales.
small, right, it was small units and dive bars.
And I'm not advocating a bar, but I am advocating for a restaurant that serves food as their main thing, and that right now they're prohibited unless they have 4,000 square feet. I think it ties the hand of our restaurants here that,
And we want more.
I know the Italian places and stuff, they prefer beer and wine. The Mexican place was talking about, if he did it, he'd only want, beer, wine, and margaritas, they don't want full full bar, traditional bar. But